to review for our test that we're going to take tomorrow. This is for Unit 4. I'm going to break this video or this review into 3 videos. So we're going to do 5 problems at a time. So there'll be 15 questions on your test, multiple choice, and just covers everything we've done in this unit. So number 1, a community center polled 240 students to see what activities they were most interested in participating in during the summer. The results are shown below in the circle graph. How many students chose tennis as an activity they were interested in? Okay, if you notice, tennis doesn't have a percentage, so we're going to find the missing percent. So we're going to add everything up: 27, 30, 20, and 11. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is 88% in all. So to find our missing percent, we take 100 minus 88, which is going to be 12%. Okay, if you notice tennis down here, there is an answer of A. That is wrong. Okay, these are not people. This is just a percentage. So there's 240 people in all. So remember, when you see a percent, we change it to a decimal, and then we multiply. So 0.12, and we multiply it by the number of people, which is 240. So we're going to multiply that together. So we get 228.80. Okay, we can't have 0.80 of a person, so we do have to round up, and so that's going to give us C. All right, number 2. The dot plots show the heights for the students in 2 different classrooms. Which statement is best supported by the data? So best supported, just saying, is true. So the distribution of the data from Mr. Stanson's class and Mrs. Kiwi's class are approximately symmetrical. So symmetrical means you cut them in half. It's the same, and that is false. Okay, the median height for Mrs. Kiwi's class is greater than the median height for Mrs. Stanson's. Okay, so median is the middle. So to do that, we mark off our dots to find the middle. Remember, it's a high and low. Okay, so Miss Kiwi's is 65. Now I'll do the same thing for Mr. Sanson's. So mark off a high and low. And his is 67. So it says it's Mrs. Kiwi's is greater than Mr. Sanson's, and that is false. The mode for both classes are the same, so mode is the most. So the most for Mr. Sanson's is 67, and then the one for Miss Kiwi's is 65. And those are not the same. So it's going to be D, the greater range. Mr. Sanson's range is greater than Mrs. Kiwi. So range is the highest minus lowest. So for Mr. Sanson, it's 72 minus 59, which is 13. And then Mrs. Kiwi's is 72 minus 60, which is 12. And so his is bigger than hers. Range. So it's D. Okay, which equation best represents the relationship between x and y in the graph? So again, we're finding the equation. So we're going to start the center. We'll count down 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's at -4. So that's the end. So can't be A. Now we're going to find where it crosses our rise and run. So remember, we find its crosshairs. So it's going to go up 2 over 1. So we write that as 2 over 1. And then we can mark off D. And then the last part is to look at the sign. So it's either negative or positive. We went up to the right, and so right means positive. So it's going to be B. Number 4, Mr. Eddington opened a savings account with an initial deposit of $530 and will not make any additional deposits or withdrawals. The account earns 1% simple interest. What is the total amount Mr. Eddington will have in his account at the end of 4 years? This is our simple interest formula. So I equals PRT. So P is our principal, which is our 530. 1% as a decimal, which is 0.01. And then T is our year, which is 4. So we'll multiply 530 times 4. And then multiply that by 0.01, which is 21.20. And we know what is the total amount at the end. So we're going to have to add this number back to 530. So 530 plus 21.20. And so we get 551.20 for our answer. All right, so for this one, we have a bar graph. So based on the value, based on the inference in the graph, which inference about the population is valid? So valid is true. Boys like skiing more than girls likes all the other sports combined. So boys is black is 12. So girls for all the sports is 4, 10, and 10. And that is false. You can look at that. Boys like snowboarding more than girls. So boys snowboarding more than girls like skiing. That is true. More girls than boys like skiing. That's false. Boys like skiing more than girls. And then D, girls like skating more than snowboarding. And that's false because they're both the same. So the answer is B. Okay, so the next video is going to have questions 6 through 10.